James here from goodguitarist.com, and in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones. Now this one can be pretty tricky once you add all the embellishments, but at its core it's actually pretty simple. It just uses some open chord shapes, nothing too hard, and I'm going to show you how to strum it that way, and I'm also going to show you how to add all those extra little bits to make it sound just like the recording. The majority of the song is just two chords, C and then F. And if you're like an intermediate player, maybe you can already play the F bar chord. But in this case, even if you can play the bar chord, we're actually going to use this easier voicing where we skip the first string, first finger on the first fret of the B string, second fret, pinky on the third fret, ring finger on the third fret of the A string, muting the thickest string with our thumb, and the highest string with the underside of that finger there. The reason why we want to do this one is because there's some embellishments that require us to go from the open string that you can't really do with a bar chord, you know? So before we go any further, let's just work out that switch a little bit. We're starting off on C, and if you're not familiar with the basic chord shapes like C, I recommend checking out my free ebook. I'll put a link to that down below. It goes over all the basic chord shapes, strumming patterns, all the stuff you need to get started. So we have our C chord, and to switch to F, we're gonna leave down these two fingers, our first finger and our third finger. Those are gonna stay put. We're just gonna move our middle finger that way, one string. So now it's on the G string instead. And then we're gonna put our pinky down where it belongs on that F chord. So take a minute and just go between those two shapes. Just keeping that in mind, that you leave down your index and your ring finger. You know, just switch between them, maybe try out each string until it's nice and clean. And before we add the strumming, let's just really quickly make sure that we have this switch. We're just gonna start off on C and do 4 downstrokes on each chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So get what you want. Nice, so make sure you can do that before we move on. Now we're going to take a look at the strumming, and that's the complicated part in this song. The strumming's changing quite a lot. You know, there's quite a few things. We're on the C chord. We're going to go. So that's a bit of a longer one. We're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. When we divide it up though, it's super duper simple. The first half, we just have to count to 4. And on 1 and 3, we're doing downstrokes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the second half, it's also pretty simple. We're gonna do a downstroke on 1 and 2, 1, 2, and then down up on 3 and 4 and. And you'll notice I'm doing a swing rhythm. So instead of doing a straight rhythm like 3 and 4 and, you know, like a really robotic, even rhythm, I'm doing like a country or blues sort of rhythm, you know, a swing rhythm. So that second half, once again, just as a recap, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. When you put it all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. And now we're going to switch to F, and we're not going to use the same pattern. That makes this a lot trickier. For the F chord, the pattern goes like this. So for that one, once again, we're going to divide it in half. The first bit, we're strumming down on 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the second half, we're going to do a down up on 2 and then down on 3 and down on 4. So 1, down, up, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. And when we put this one together, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So take some time with this one as well. You know, this is, so far there's more strumming in this than like 4 songs combined. You know, there's quite a lot of rhythm going on in this song, so take your time with it. And if you find that you need extra help with this kind of stuff, I do have a complete beginner's course that one of the chapters is designed to just fix your rhythm. You know, I don't really have a better way to say it. Like if you have trouble with rhythm, we build it from the inside out, starting out with like clapping exercises and counting and things that are going to give you a sense of rhythm. And then adding the coordination, like the downstrokes and the upstrokes, is pretty easy once you've hit that point. Anyways, the next step is to put this all together, the strumming for the C chord and the F chord. I'm gonna do it nice and slow a few times. You can always just watch this and then rewind it and try it again with me once you've kind of figured out what's going on. Starting off on C, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool, and we could play it just like that for the majority of the song, but what I want to do now is add the embellishments, add the stuff that's going to make it sound like the original recording. This is what our final product's going to look like. Once again, we're going to break it down. For the C chord, we're actually going to start off with our pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string, and our rhythm is exactly like we did before. That's why we practiced the rhythm part first. You know, the same strumming, the same order for all that stuff. For our first downstroke, we have our pinky down on the 3rd fret there, and then we remove it, and for our second downstroke, and then we put it back down and we remove it. So we've just been alternating. And then on that down, up at the end, we go. So on the downstrokes, our pinky is down. And then on the upstrokes, it's off. So going through it with our strumming pattern, I'll just say on when our pinky is on that string and off when we lift it off. On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. I know that's kind of weird, but when I was teaching this one, I found that was actually the best way for one of my students to get it. So just try that, you know, it's on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. And if you practice the strumming before with me, just like a couple minutes ago, then this will make perfect sense. You know, you already have the strumming down. We're just lifting our finger on and off during certain strokes. Now, for the F chord, there's actually a couple variations. The first time, we're going to do it like this. So for that, it starts off just the same as before, just down, down, down. And now in the second half of it, we're going to lift off our middle finger, and we're going to pluck that open G string, and then hammer our finger back where it belongs. And then we do a strum, and then we just pluck that G string again. So that last bit. So let's try that together with the C. 3 and 4 and. And then we go back to the C chord, do it the same way. And this time, it's a little bit different on the F. It goes like this. So there, we strummed it down, 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 up, down, down. So that's the strumming portion of it. And then we went. So it's very similar. You know, our fingers lifted, our middle finger, hammer, pluck the B string, and then the G string. Now, obviously, as the song goes on, he does this like a million times. There's going to be slight variations. You know, they're not robots. They're humans. They're going to play it a little bit differently every time. But I recommend starting off with just these two. And once you're used to them, you know, once you can just really rock these ones, it'll be easy to kind of ad-lib your own, you know, to kind of change up the rhythm here or there, add a downstroke here and there, change where you put that little lick on the F chord, you know, but first start with this, get good at this. So we just do that, the C chord and the F chord. You can do it the simple way without all the embellishments or with the embellishments. We do that back and forth 7 times, and then we're going to do this. And that takes us into the chorus. It starts off on this chord, which is like a D7 sus4. It's like a D7 chord, and then we suspend up to the 4th. So finger-wise, we got the open D string, got our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G, first finger on the 1st fret of B, pinky on the highest string at the 3rd fret. We strum that, and we count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then on beat 2 here, we're gonna pluck the open D string. Then we do a, just like we were doing on our F chord. Open G string, hammering with our middle finger back where it was on the 2nd fret. And then we're gonna pluck the B string. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1. And I recommend just working that out. So far, this is what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to switch to our F chord. And we already have 2 fingers in the right spot, our first couple fingers. So all we got to do is lift up these other ones, pop them where they belong on the F chord. Just a downstroke on beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then here on beat 2, we're going to do one of the same embellishments that we did before. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So the F chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Together with that D chord before it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1. And that gets us into the chorus. So before we do that, let's just recap everything we've done so far. Let's play it together nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. From there, we'd be in the chorus. So take some time with that. You know, you might have to rewind it a few times, watch it, see what's going on. And when you're ready, we can move on and take a look at that chorus, which is a lot easier than what we just did. It's basically just C to F with another strumming pattern, but this time it's going to be consistent. And this strumming pattern is a bit more active. I'll do it on a C chord. This is what it sounds like. So it starts off with just downstrokes on beat 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're gonna go up, down, down, and that's just after beat 4. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, up, down, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, up, down, down. Let's add that with what we have so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, up, down, down. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, up, down, down. And now all we have left to do is just add up, down, up at the very end. So right after that up, down, down, we'll count 3 and then go up, down, up. You know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, up, down, down, 3, up, down, up. I find that adding those numbers in between for those missing beats really helps keep you on track. And once you develop a habit for it, it'll make learning strumming patterns ridiculously easy. Anyways, let's just recap that whole thing nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, up, down, down, 3, up, down. One more time. 4, 3. So this is the rhythm that we use right after they sing, you get what you need, and then, you know, the song starts rocking out. That's the rhythm we're using here. And also, later on in the tune, anytime they sing, you can't always get what you want, we'll start using this rhythm. So whenever they start singing, you can't always get what you want, we switch to this rhythm instead of the. So let's just try this rhythm out, you know, on our C and F chords really quick, just to make sure we got it. Starting off on C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back to our verse. So if you could play through that, you're pretty much good to go. You know, we did transitions between all the parts and everything like that. If you had trouble with that because, you know, you just weren't expecting how to put it all together, just rewind it, try it again. The only part that we don't have yet in this song is the bridge. And that part, once again, more chords, more strumming. Let's just take a look at it. Our first chord is D over A. And that's just a D chord, but I'm making a point of really getting that A string as the bass note of it. Then we go to E minor over B. And once again, it just looks like an E minor chord, but that's my bass note. I'm avoiding the thickest string. Then we have F over C. And that's just like, that's our F chord that we were playing before. You know, we don't have the thickest string. That note right there, that's C. That's our bass note. Then this guy. And finally a G chord. And our strumming pattern goes like this. Counting it out nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Breaking it down, the first half is super simple. It's just a downstroke on 1 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the second half, we're going to count 1 and then we're going to go up, down right after 1. So like 1, up, down. And then 3, 4 and, super easy. Down, down, up. So that last half, 1, up, down, 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 up. And if you've been keeping up with me up to this point, this is going to be not too difficult for you. Let's just add this to that chord progression 1 time per chord. A 1, 2, 3, 4. And that just happens once in the song after, I think, the 3rd chorus. Now, that's all as far as the components of the song go. Now, for assembling it, that's the tricky part here. And the first thing I want you to do is just listen to the recording a whole bunch of times. That's the absolute first step. Listen to the recording and see if you can notice, oh yeah, they're doing the verse there. Yeah, that's that strumming pattern. That must be the chorus. Oh yeah, that's that other part where they do that. You know, you'll start noticing where all the bits go. That's the first thing. So just listen to the recording like 4 or 5 times all the way through, really focusing on it and, you know, thinking about where all those components go. And then from there, it's just a matter of laying things out in order. And if you need any extra help with the stuff here, I have a lot of things designed to help you out with songs just like this. There's links to all that down below in the description. Otherwise, hope you have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.